Southwest Florida's #1 podcast station.
Well, welcome everyone to the Michael and Sian show. I'm Michael Markovina.
And I'm Sian Mirage.
And we are on the cusp of, we're going to be talking about COVID-19 tonight. We got a special guest. We have one in the studio and we have two calling in.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, you should know.
Yes.
One person calling in is
my mom.
Your mom.
Yes.
And tell us real quick where she works at.
She works at Delray Beach Health Department. So
Okay,
she gets
great.
First insight on everything happening with COVID-19.
That is excellent. We have Star is going to be coming on the later half of the show, and she's going to be talking about she owns her own nail salon, and she had gotten a lot of calls from her clients to do nails, and she finally did them again today. But like I said, guys, we're on the cusp of the governor's order 20-91,
Right.
where essential walking around only. I have a lot of problems with that, and then of course in the studio you've seen him on the Tomb Hooks, and we're going to be talking to Britton Thorne about layoffs and what he's done to file for unemployment and how this pandemic has affected you. We're going to be talking to you in after our first break. So, Sian, we talked about a couple of things before we came on air here, and I think the biggest one we need to come up with right now, what does the official executive order from Governor DeSantis say under Section 1?
This is a safer at home, well, I wouldn't say law, but what's the right?
Under Section 1, what's the title?
Safer at home.
Yeah, and not stay at home, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
and this is signed by Governor DeSantis. And Sian, all day today, I've been watching the news, and all the news media is stay at home. Now, guys, this is a big difference. If you stay at home, it's like telling a dog to stay. You can't go nowhere. But then we looked up the definitions of both words, and I guess the reason why the governor chose to use the word safer at home is because he wants us to be safer at home, to stay at home, 65 plus.
Absolutely.
So there's more stuff in the order if you want to read.
Yes, senior citizens and individuals with a significant underlying medical condition shall stay at home and take all measures to limit the risk of exposure to COVID-19. So that is a huge difference between staying at home versus safer at home. People, it's just kind of, use your better judgment. If you're sick, if you're infected or whatever you have going on, obviously the smarter thing to do would to, keep yourself self-contained.
And that would be with any flu.
Right.
Or any virus or any illness that you might have. Stay at home. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
Angel was here earlier today, and he said him and Anthony was watching this graph of where the COVID-19 virus had started in China, and the graph was all the way over here. And Angel was telling me, jokingly, he said it looked like a horse race because he watched the United States go from the bottom all the way up to number one. Because we have people in this country that lick toilet seats.
Yes.
I know, Sian, I don't get it. Why?
It's really simple. Like, we did have a conversation prior regarding H1N1 and COVID-19, the comparison. The symptoms are very similar, and people just need to be, use our common sense. Obviously keep your hands clean as you normally should.
Wash your hands.
Exactly.
Cough into your elbow or shoulder, or use a tissue. And, this misnomer about face masks. And we went over it on the WLJ News yesterday and on the two MOOCs a few days ago. Look, guys, and this is coming straight from the CDC. Paper mask is not going to stop you from contracting COVID-19 unless you have an NP95 face mask, which fully encompasses the face and has an actual ventilator
like an
on it.
industrial kind, yeah.
So everybody's walking around with gloves, understandably.
Right.
But how you take the gloves off?
Right, exactly.
And this was on Wink. It was on Wink News earlier this morning. They had an actual nurse on there on how to take the gloves off.
Right, properly.
And when you got the gloves on, don't be, touching your face.
They forget, yeah.
And we forget because we are a race of people who like to scratch their nose. You got an itch right here, on the lips or whatever. Once you do this, you have it.
It's over, exactly. Yeah.
And I watched the YouTube report from a doctor, and I'm going to give his name coming up on episodes for WLJ News. And he explained in detail and in layman's terms how the COVID-19 and the flu is contracted into the body. Now, both the flu and COVID-19 is the same thing. Right. It's not influenza, but it's a respiratory illness. So
similar symptoms.
Yeah. Similar symptoms, but the death is pneumonia because it gets into your lungs, it causes pneumonia, and that's when you're in trouble, guys. Yeah. So we looked at some stats earlier today. The influenza from October 1st to March 1st. Do you remember the stats on how many people were infected?
Let me see if it's
you have it in front of you.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Listen to this, guys. Just listen to the stats. Now, this is from October 1st, 2019 to March 1st, 2020. This is just in the United States. You have it there?
Symptomatic illnesses, medical visits, hospitalization, deaths. Which one would you like?
Let's go with asymptomatic.
Okay.
How many millions of people in the United States were affected by the flu?
16.5 million.
16.5 million. And we're going to bring up some stats after our first break. But 16.5 million since October 1st, 2019 to March 1st, 2020. Am I correct in those dates?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are completely unaware of this.
This is why we have to bring up the stats. We're going to bring it up on the computer, and we're going to put it on screen. Because, like, with the safer at home order that Governor DeSantis has signed, 20-91, he signed it yesterday, and the news media
Oh, two different things.
It
happening.
is, because if you change one word.
Yeah.
So when we were talking before our show, you live in a community where there's a lot of elderly people,
Yes.
and you were telling me,
They're
people
in a
are freaking
panic.
out. They're
Yeah.
panicking.
Yeah. And most of these people, they are watching the daily news, and that, like you said, that one word or phrase is stay at home. They're panicking. They're thinking, okay, I must stay at home. It's crazy out here. It's rapidly growing or being,
Right.
spreading or whatever it is. And
See, the governor
they
chose,
don't want to leave their house.
Yeah, exactly. The governor chose his words, which this executive order was written by attorneys. Of course, probably the state attorney general.
Right.
But he chose this word for a reason.
Yeah.
He's showing responsibility, and the news media is not.
And it does kind of remind me of other situations. For example, when there's a hurricane in effect,
Yes.
the news would kind of, amp people up, exaggerate, use certain words or terminology to get people in a panic.
Yes.
So every single time something is happening, it's those simple little words that people hear and listen to. They don't even bother doing the research. They just kind of go off of that and they get crazy.
And what does panic cause?
Chaos.
Chaos, and it causes mass buying of generators and water during hurricane season and food. When we have never predicted where a hurricane hits. Ever.
Right.
Ever. We could come within, 100, 200 miles. I don't know if you remember Charlie.
Right.
Was supposed to hit Tampa, and it came right through Fort Myers.
Right.
So
It's never exact.
yeah. And we're listening to, I think the biggest thing right now with COVID-19, with the news media, and with everybody, is responsibility.
Absolutely.
You are a major news station, CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox, CNN, and so on and so forth. You have the responsibility, and you took the oath as a reporter to tell the truth.
Right.
Not to mix it around. The governor's order is plain and simple. You have it in front of you. That's his signature. But yet, the news media chooses to use the word stay.
And they
don't
do
get
this repeatedly. Like I said, with the hurricane, with tornadoes, whatever it is that's going on, I noticed the repeated trend in, the news media, and it really drives the majority of the population crazy because most people just go by whatever the news is saying. That's
Right.
it. They kind of stop right there and they trust it.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that the media knows that the audience trusts it, and they take
Right.
advantage of it.
Oh, definitely.
They take advantage of it. Because you got to look at the sponsors.
Right.
Home Depot
Yeah.
I see a Home Depot commercial on most of the news media, whether local or national.
Right.
So in order not to upset them, they're going to create some type of panic, because where are you going to go buy generators
Right.
at? Home Depot,
That's
Ace
true.
Hardware,
And that's what people do. They get in a panic and they overload on every single thing. The stores get crazy, empty shelves. You're completely right about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I can ask. I can look into the camera right now and ask the news media to change and start going back to Walter Cronkite when I grew up. Walter Cronkite reported the news in a monotone voice and reported it factually. There was no inflection. There was nothing. He let you choose what you wanted to believe.
Right.
And it's not like that anymore.
Big difference.
You know,
Absolutely.
Dan Rather, Walter Cronkite, Tom Brokaw. I mean, all the famous news reporters, and that's from the three majors, ABC, CBS, and NBC.
Yeah.
That I don't get it. I don't get it anymore. I don't know if the news media thinks we're stupid, but
Well, most people, I hate to say this,
are stupid.
Well, they're gullible. They are
Yeah,
so
better
extremely
word.
gullible, and they pass on the information. Like, for example, it could be a young couple watching it. Oh, Grandma, did you hear this? And then it just, the whole family is in a panic, and there's
Yeah.
a frenzy just like that.
And unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles right now. And this is what we have to deal with. So I want to say something to you guys right now. Don't be gullible.
Correct.
Check out your facts. The internet is a wonderful place for fact checking.
Yes.
So go ahead and fact check. Don't take the media, and don't take what's coming on, especially on social media.
Oh God.
And
Forget about it.
the
That's
reason-
the two mooks.
Yeah, I know. The reason for that show to be alive is because of all the idiotic things that are going on Facebook, and not only Facebook. I'm not going to individualize them out. It's social media in general. I mean, there's so many social media platforms. I couldn't even name all of them because I just don't care.
Well, it really blows my mind how much people believe what they see on social media.
Yeah.
And they run with that. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's sad.
I don't either, Sian. And maybe this might be a question for one of our guests coming up. I don't get it either.
Yeah.
I mean, we're smart and intelligent people, and so are our guests that come on the show. We don't get it. Where are the people that get it?
Yeah.
Where are you guys at? And I would love to hear from anybody. 239-645-1291. If you want to call in and chime in, let us know what's going on in your life right now during this COVID-19 pandemic. And we would love to talk to you. We're going to take a short break. And after we come back, we're going to have Sian's mom
Yes.
on the line, and we're going to talk to her. And we're going to be right back after this break. And we're back after that short break. And just to let you guys know, we take breaks because that's going to be our commercial spots.
Nice.
You know, people are going to start paying to promote their commercials. So, Sian, who do we have on the phone?
We have a very special guest, my mom, Sue Mirage.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hi, fine, thank you.
And Sian.
So, Mom, tell us where you work, if that's okay, and what's the latest news on your side of town?
I work for the Department of Health. And I did not hear the other part of your question.
I said, what is the latest news on your end with the COVID-19?
Okay, the COVID-19 is extremely dangerous since we do not know where it's really originated from, how it's originated. We have no vaccines for it. We decided that the social distancing is the best right now, and stay inside, stay indoor. No big gathering.
Are we not sure? Are we not sure where the virus is coming from? Because I was under the impression from the CDC that it came from the Wuhan province in China.
They're saying that because that's where the actual outbreak started. But before that started there, COVID virus was around. The strength that started in Wuhan is a different strength of COVID virus. There was COVID virus before that.
Oh, wow. That I did not know. And,
Yes.
and I find it weird because a lot of people on Facebook have been posting pictures of Lysol cans 10 years ago, says that it will prevent the human coronavirus.
Correct.
So we've known about
It
this.
has been around. Yes, it has been around.
It's been around for a long time.
True.
And I'm wondering how it just just popped up and started in China. And that'd be a good question. I mean, do you know why?
I'm not sure why, but from research and listening to all these different meetings with CDC and the different Department of Health and all these scientists,
Right.
we're thinking that when it's colder, it appears. And
Colder?
according to them, it gets pretty cold in China,
Yes.
like around January, February.
Well,
So what we're thinking,
Yeah, viruses.
Go ahead, I'm
is,
sorry.
No, that's okay. Viruses itself cannot live in colder weather. Is that correct? Like the H1N1, the swine flu, and any other virus cannot live in colder weather as long as it would live in warmer weather?
correct.
Okay, so, and I asked that question because the outbreak, if you see the map right now of the United States, folks, throughout the middle of the United States and above going towards the north where it's still cold up there, we have minimal outbreaks. New York, I can see the outbreak because you're talking about, 13 million people living so
population.
close together. You know, being socially distanced in cities like that, or Chicago, Miami, and especially in LA, it's hard to social distance from yourself because you have sometimes 200-300 people living in one apartment building.
Right.
Correct.
So this virus is definitely, it's an airborne virus.
Correct.
Okay, so when people sneeze, what should they be doing when they sneeze out in public?
Sneeze in your sleeve, not in your hand. Sneeze in your sleeve, go get sanitizer, go wash your hand. Wash right after. Wash.
And
Do not touch anyone, not touch nothing. Wash.
yeah, exactly. And this is what you should be doing with any virus, any influenza, any flu. Because, I don't know if you were watching, your mom's name's Sue.
Yes.
Sue, if you're watching the show earlier, 21 million people have been affected by influenza since October 1st of 2019.
How
So,
many deaths we had.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a matter of respect right now for your fellow citizens. Matter of fact, your fellow human beings that you're around. to be responsible.
Right, absolutely.
And now,
Correct.
and now, yeah, we're not being responsible enough now. So now the government has to step in and is indoctrinating a misdemeanor if you don't follow the governor's order here in the state of Florida.
That is so true.
And I don't like to see the government step in, because us as citizens, the Constitution, the first three words are "we the people," not "we the government."
Right.
And it's sad that the government has to take over now to implement social distancing and not a stay-at-home order in the state of Florida. And I want to keep bringing this up for everybody that's watching right now. It is a safer at-home order coming from Governor DeSantis.
True.
So now, Sue, if by chance you do get COVID-19, what's the best thing you can do at home?
Stay home, quarantine yourself, stay away from family members. But I put it this way.
Okay,
Just
as far
keep
as
showering from your head, from head to toe,
showering,
like twice a day. Stay away from everyone. Stay clean, sterilize, stay clean.
what about some over-counter medications that you can take to help the symptoms? Because I know, and most people that are watching right now, hopefully you know, there is no cure for viruses. And
Exactly.
never has been one. Bacterial, yes, and that's why we have penicillin and amoxicillin and everything else. But for the symptoms like high fever and I guess you're going to get body aches. And by the way, guys, if you're symptomatic and you're showing shortness of breath, you have underlying conditions, go to the emergency room. Dial 911, get an ambulance out, and go to the emergency room. But if you're at home, Sue, what can you do? Can you like drinking tea? I mean, having fluids. What can we do at home?
Well, one Chinese scientist came up with a lot of lemongrass tea. Keep the body hydrated, not dehydrated, because with the temperature you get dehydrated. Take Tylenol, increase the tea, the body fluid, and stay away from everyone.
I mean, Sian, maybe the reason why the Chinese coronavirus is pretty much over. Asian people do drink a lot more tea than Americans
They
do.
do. They
Yeah.
do
I mean,
that, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be funny, but
Yeah.
No.
your mom just came up with lemongrass tea.
Elderberry too is
Which is that?
elderberry.
Alderberry.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's similar to like a blueberry, but they sell it at like
It's an antioxidant.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I've just drank it normally because I like it, but it helps, fight off infections, stuff
Right.
like that. But I mean, like you said, viruses, there's no cure for it, so you just have to kind of ride it out. But
But at least start addressing the symptoms.
oh, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and the YouTube that I was watching earlier this morning, the mucus in the nose, blow your nose,
yeah.
take steamed showers.
Right.
Try to get all the stuff. Am I right, Sue?
Yes.
Take showers, and Sue just said
Yes.
twice a day.
Right.
Yeah.
At
So
least.
yeah, if you guys are listening right now, please listen, because she's a healthcare professional,
Yeah.
and it's not coming from myself or my co-host. Sue's on the phone.
CDC. This is from CDC.
Yeah,
CDC.
coming from the Centers for Disease Control, and
Control, yes.
yeah. So, why, Sian? I don't understand why people aren't listening. This is
That's
pretty
what it really
simple.
boils down to.
Tea, lemongrass
Yeah.
tea, and the berry that you came.
Elderberry, yeah.
Elderberry. I mean, come on, it's just simple stuff like that.
Absolutely. But it
Yeah.
kind of goes back to reminding me of the numbers from the influenza. People just not being responsible even for that. And now they're in a panic,
Right.
thinking, oh, well, what should I do? The same things that you should have done or should be doing with influenza, washing your hands, staying away. And if you have any symptoms, obviously get checked out immediately. Don't ignore it.
Right.
I feel like some people, I know some people that whenever they get sick, they just kind of ignore it and like they wait.
I'll get
until-
better. I'll get better with time. I'll get better.
Exactly.
And the biggest thing, even with the flu, is that employers still require you to come to work.
Right.
They push you to come back to work.
Yeah.
So this is why 21 million people have been affected by the flu since October 1st of 2019.
Right.
So there's
right.
no responsibility anywhere.
Exactly. And think about like the food and hospitality industry, which
Yes.
is a huge thing, and I've seen bartenders, waitresses that are sick, coughing in their sleeve. And I'm thinking, what are you doing here at work?
The employer's pushing them to work.
Right. And they're afraid to lose their job.
78.6%, guys, that is a correct percentage of people who died from the flu since October 1st were 65 plus. Now, Sue, our immune system as we get older, what happens to our immune system?
Our immune system decreases, and back to what Sian was saying, the elderberry and the lemongrass, what it does, it increases your immune level. And like we're saying, I think that is why a lot of these Oriental people have the COVID virus under control, because they do drink a lot of tea. It just builds your immune system up.
I'm gonna start bringing that up. Yeah, and we're gonna do some fact checking on that for WLJ News, because it makes sense right now.
Yeah.
The coronavirus started in China back in December, and they have it well under control at this point.
Right.
So this is coming from an Asian country that drinks tea, and another country that drinks tea is England.
Yeah.
The UK. We need to check some facts on that too, and find out what's going on with that. Gosh, Sue, thank you so much for joining the show tonight and enlightening our audience on what it's going to take to combat the COVID-19.
Exactly. Keep it under control and don't panic.
We had a meeting yesterday afternoon, and according to those professionals, the polls, the scientists, it will take a year or two.
A year or two?
And that is a very long time. Because
Wow,
it's spreading.
I hope, Sue, for your sake, our sake, and everybody in the United States, that it does not take a year or two, because things are only going to get worse with people being out of work. People can't pay their rent, their mortgages, their utilities, and we're gonna talk about a couple of that stuff coming up in the break. And this is the Michael and Sian Show, guys, and we're gonna be right back. Thank you so much, Sue.
Have a great night.
Guys, we're back. I'm Michael Marcovino
I'm Sian Mirage.
and my beautiful co-host over there. And we just had your mom on the phone.
Yes.
And she came up with some. I'm looking for the word. I don't want to say thrilling, but a year or two that this COVID-19 might take to excuse me to get out of everybody's system in the United States is unheard of. And the reason why I bring that up, guys, at the beginning of this break, or after this break, I have a good friend of mine on the phone, Star. Star, welcome to the Michael and Sian Show.
Thank you for having me.
So Star and I talked a little bit earlier today, Sian, and she owns a nail salon up in Sarasota, Florida. And Star, COVID-19, how has it been impacting you?
It's been impacting me for the last 3 weeks. You know, clients will cancel because they're scared to come in because we got to touch their hands. So, you know, if I don't have a client in my chair, I don't have income coming in.
How do we survive? I mean, what's the government going to provide for you as a business owner in order for you to survive and pay your bills?
I only know the stimulus check that's coming in, but that's really not going to do much. Rent here alone, is very expensive, and for $1,200 is not going to go very far to be able to survive maybe 1 month on that for rent.
Also, Star, hi, this is Sian here. I have a question for you. Is there a mandatory time set in place for you to keep your salon closed? How is that all working out?
Yeah, as of today was my last day. We are closed for 30 days. So May 1st, we're looking to reopen if we're allowed to reopen.
Oh, wow.
And this is coming from the governor, Star, because of you're a non-essential business, correct?
That's correct.
And this is on the order 20-91 that was signed by Governor DeSantis yesterday, and we're a little over 3 hours and 21 minutes right now before this takes effect, because it takes effect at 12:01 tonight. Mm-hmm. And Star, have you heard anything up in Sarasota County? Because down here in Lee County, if you're out shopping around for non-essentials, you could be arrested for a second-degree misdemeanor. What's Sarasota Sheriff talking about up there?
It's the same thing. If you do not have the letter from the governor to state that you can be driving back and forth to work, they can arrest you, and it is a misdemeanor. Also, if I am caught, like saying I want to go to somebody's house and do their nails, if I get caught doing that, they can take my license away and also get a misdemeanor for that and jail time.
Wow, jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and folks, this is the times to come, because this is just the beginning. And I predicted this many weeks ago on the other show that I host with DJ Apex, and we're getting close to martial law.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent the better part of this morning, guys, with the ACLU and constitutional lawyers, that this is unconstitutional. And the ACLU is preparing paperwork to start suing the governors after the COVID-19 is over.
Wow.
And I got that from one of the paralegals. I can't tell their name because they'll probably deny it. But yeah, they're preparing for it because this is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Our First Amendment is freedom of speech and freedom to gather, to protest. And they're taking everything away from us. It's sad, Star, that the government has to do this. Why can't us United States citizens do it on our own?
Exactly. It's
I don't know. It is very sad.
So, Star, you have a son, and we talked earlier today about how is he going to graduate?
That's the whole thing. We don't even know what's going to happen with kids graduating proms and him moving into the next grade. They haven't discussed any of that yet. All I know is they're just doing homeschooling, and they won't be returning back to school this year.
And it is set for May 1st, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in the same boat with you. I have two daughters in elementary school, but no word on graduation. The only thing I know is May 1st, virtual school, and no FSA. And that's
Yeah.
it. We're all kind of just hanging on limbo.
And tell everybody right now what FSA is.
FSA is the Florida State test for children, I believe elementary, to move on to the next grade level.
Is that the
Yeah.
same thing with you, Star?
Yep. Same thing.
And neither one of you, both of your parents, both of you have children, and neither one of you know how your children are going to graduate and move on to the next grade level next year.
It's terrible.
No.
We don't know what to do, as parents. Like, all we have to do is kind of follow this little string until we get further notice.
I just want to say God bless the Department of Education for the state of Florida. Because that's ridiculous. I mean, all my children are grown and out of high school, but to have, Star has a son and you have two daughters,
Yeah.
but I'm flabbergasted right now that everything's just put off.
Yeah.
Social distancing, and now we can get arrested for going outside of our house for non-essential use. Because
crazy.
the government doesn't trust us to do it ourselves, which I kind of agree with.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, I agree.
Star, have you seen the things on Facebook in the last couple of weeks with people licking toilet seats and doorknobs and?
Yes, I have. Actually, I was just telling my husband that there was a FedEx driver, delivery driver, put spit in his hand and wiped the top of the box that he delivered.
To your house?
No, not to my house. I saw it on Facebook.
Oh,
wow.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's so gross. Yeah, it was in the news. I don't know where I can find it, but yeah, it was gross.
All right, so Star, we had Sian's mom on the phone earlier. She works for the Department of Health in Miami, correct?
Delray Beach.
Delray Beach. Okay, and we kind of come to the conclusion, tea, lemongrass tea, and your
Elderberry.
elderberry. We're kind of thinking right now is the reason why China is not suffering from the coronavirus anymore, because most Asians like to drink tea. So
Right.
if by chance you know anybody with the COVID-19, go buy him a bag of tea. Because I think it's going to help, because
Yeah.
Sue was explaining to us it boosts the immune system.
It does.
Right.
So if you know anybody, or God forbid you or your son might contract this, and I know you're responsible, you're going to stay home, regardless of anything. But if you know anybody, go ahead and pass this along, because I think it's important for people not to buy toilet paper, but to start buying some tea and some remedies for the symptoms, because we do not have a cure or a vaccine for COVID-19, and we do not have a cure for the virus itself, no matter what virus it is, guys. And whatever you see on Facebook, it is false. There is no cure for the virus as of today. There might be somewhere in some government facility, I don't know, but as of right now, according to the CDC, we have no cures for the virus. Gosh, Star, I want to thank you for joining the show and calling in. I really do appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck and a safe journey for the next month. And if you just want to shout out, give me a call anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
It was a pleasure.
You're very, very welcome. This is a friend of mine for almost 10 years. Lovely young lady. And, guys, she's hurting too. She owns her own business, and the stimulus doesn't provide for business owners right now, other than applying for a loan through the Small Businesses Administration.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
So it's a forgivable loan, but it's only to meet payroll. It doesn't help business owners, especially small business owners like myself and like Star and like the millions of other small business owners out there. The stimulus package doesn't help us.
Yeah.
It helps the employees who have payroll taxes taken out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, and Natalia, our makeup artist for White Privilege, has just said, yes, I love elderberry. Sian got me on it.
Yes, I love you.
She's watching right now. So Natalia, thank you for chiming in. And we're going to take one more break, and we have another guest in the studio. Britton Thorne is with us, and he's going to talk about being laid off for 3 weeks now, and his process for applying for unemployment. This is the Michael and Sian Show. We will be right back.
Me and my mans feel like we astronauts, cause we so high from off that line. We got from new lights. Me and my mans feel like we astronauts, cause we so high from off that line. We got from new lights. Me and my mans feel like we astronauts, cause we so high from off that line. We got from new lights. Me and my mans feel like we astronauts, cause we so high from off that line. We got from new lights.
we're back. This is the Michael and Sian show, and we're back here. We got quite a few people that has been watching us tonight. We had
Good.
two great guests, your mom Sue, and we're going to start doing some research on that about drinking tea.
Yeah.
I want to first welcome Britton Thorne to the show. Welcome, Britton.
Thank you for having me.
And we talked on the break that you know some people in the UK, because the UK is a tea drinking country. We might be able to get a hold of some people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and see if this is working. I believe your mom's right. It boosts the immune system with the elderberry and lemongrass and things like that. And Anthony also brought up on the break Hawaii.
Right.
Asian population is pretty big in Hawaii,
Right.
which means that they drink a lot of tea.
I was just about to say that. A lot of tea sippers.
Yeah, I mean, hey guys, that's great. We might have a breakthrough right here. Might have to call the CDC, call the president, and things like that. I don't know if you know, Sian, that the WLJ News, we are now on the White House press secretary. We get all the releases.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we've been getting. I get 12 to 16 a day.
Wow.
And I feed through them. And we're also with the press secretary for the governor's office for the state of Florida,
Wow.
Ron DeSantis. And I've been getting a lot of stuff from them also. I'm trying to keep this so that, not only on our show, and I'm sad to say right now that the Michael and Sian show might not be on next week because of what's going on. I have to speak to the company attorney tomorrow because we changed the format to WLJ News on one show and bring you back as a field reporter.
Right.
Because I'd hate to lose you for 4 weeks, because I think we've come up with something tonight that, I mean, even with elderly people,
Right. Absolutely.
with tea, and it's so simple.
Yes, it is.
And during the break, you were saying you went into the store.
Yes, I went into a health food store local here, Fort Myers, in a busy area in a public shopping plaza.
Okay.
And I was the only one there. Everything was filled. The elderberry.
Okay, what does this store sell?
They sell all natural herbal supplements, antioxidants, things to build up your immune system.
Elderberry?
The elderberry.
How about tea? Lemongrass?
I'm not sure if they had the lemongrass there, but they did have the elderberry, which is just as good, a
Right.
little bit different. But they had pretty much anything and everything you could think of, even cheaper than Amazon. So another thing, people, if you
There
are
you go.
in Lee County, Mother's Earth store.
Well, after the show tonight, go ahead and give me the name of the store. I'll give them a call, and maybe we can get them a plug.
Yeah.
And I really think we're on something right now, because everything, all the dominoes are starting to fall into place right now. When you start thinking about the countries that are tea drinkers, the COVID-19 is almost gone, or is not even there. Like the state of Hawaii right now is Asian.
Right.
Is populated by more Asians than other races, and there's rarely any cases there. And if there are really any deaths, I think there was one today.
Yeah.
That they just reported. One.
Right.
1,224 in New York as of yesterday, April 1st.
Wow.
And I think we might be onto something. And if this is working and it pans out factually, I'm going to start pushing this.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only pushing it, I'm going to go buy some elderberry tomorrow.
I actually was going to bring you some.
Oh, well, why didn't you?
I totally forgot. I got out the house. I'm like, oh, no, I forgot. But I had you on.
All right, guys. And Britton, I'm going to get to you here in just a second. People with underlying conditions. Unfortunately, I do have one. I have cancer. So I do have an underlying condition, but I'm not taking the COVID-19 not serious. I am taking it serious, but I wash my hands.
Right.
I'm not coughing. I don't have I'm not asymptomatic. I'm not showing any symptoms, but I do have underlying things going on in my body that would make me susceptible to death. So, but it's just being responsible at this
I think
point.
that's the key word. You know, it sounds so simple, but it really is the key word with everything that's going on.
Being responsible.
Being responsible and using your common sense, people.
Right. Okay, so we're going to get back to you, Britton. How's the COVID-19 affected you and your job right now?
Well, I've been out of work for about 3 weeks now.
And you work at one of the malls here in Fort Myers.
Correct.
Okay. You work at a couple of shops inside the malls.
Yeah.
All right. So you filed for unemployment a couple of days ago. I mean, how's that going?
Well, for me, as opposed to other people that I know that have been applying for the last couple of weeks and been getting nowhere, October of last year, I had a claim for something completely different. So seeing as how I already had my name in the system, it only took me about 10 minutes, but other people have been trying for weeks. So this is going to be a problem for quite a while.
Right. Do you know when you're going to get your first check? Have they told you anything yet?
On the 13th, I claimed for the benefits, and a couple of days later, I'll receive it.
Oh, April 13th.
Right.
Oh, well, that's not too bad if it pans out.
Right.
You know, because on the news earlier today, it was 6.6 million people applied for unemployment throughout the United States. And guys, this is just the beginning. 6.6 million people out of, I think the populace in the United States is 240 million people.
Yeah. And that number could rise.
Yeah, well, it's going to.
Yeah.
So the governor earlier today, during his address to us Floridians, the unemployment computer, I guess, crashed. They can't handle the overload of people applying for unemployment.
Yeah. That's crazy.
These are the type of steps that I think that our leaders would have taken weeks ago, knowing
Right.
that people are going to file for unemployment, because if your employer
Exactly.
lays you off, you're eligible for unemployment.
Right.
Since it's state mandated, I don't know. So, Britain, it's going to hurt you financially. I mean, how do you pay your bills?
That's a good question. I mean, nobody knows.
Well,
You see where I'm getting at, guys?
yeah.
This is why I keep saying that this is only going to get worse.
And you're absolutely right about
Because
that.
how do you pay your bills? And this is what I'm going to start bringing up. And starting next Monday, I'm going to have my staff put together. I don't know if it's going to be a GoFundMe account. I'm not sure how we're going to take that, because I haven't spoken to legal yet. But we need to start doing something to help the individuals and parents of children.
Oh, yeah.
And the biggest thing is I want to get a petition going to the Florida governor, and I don't know if Trump can do it or not, but I'm going to also send him my perspectives on no rent, no mortgage, no utilities until this state of emergency is over. This pandemic is over.
Absolutely. I agree with you 1,000%.
And the reason why I want to do this is I see dominoes falling into place one after another, like with your mom Sue coming up with the lemongrass tea and the elderberry, tea.
Yeah.
To boost your immune system. What I predict is going to happen is suicides are going to go up.
Oh, definitely.
Robberies, looting.
Crime, yeah.
When I talked to Star earlier today, where she's at, and this is really, really heartbreaking. For the bars, there's about 8 bars in this. It's called Gulf Gate up in Sarasota. 4 of the bars are never going to reopen.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
Yeah, they're never going to reopen.
Wow.
And she also said that a lot of other business owners are boarding up their windows. So my prediction for looting is going to start coming true.
Oh, definitely.
People are going to get so cooped up
Yeah.
in their homes, they don't know what to do. And especially now it's being enforced by, if you're out buying non-essentials, it's a second-degree misdemeanor.
That's
punishable up $500 and up to 60 days in jail.
That's
And in some
absolutely
states,
crazy.
it's a year.
Wow.
And I think in Florida, it's a year. Second-degree misdemeanor. I'm going to have to look that up, and I have to bring some facts on WLJ News. But this is where we're coming to. I mean, do you guys see
Sadly.
that as what I'm seeing?
It's
Oh,
gonna happen. It's
definitely.
just a matter of when it's gonna happen, in my opinion.
You know what? That's just like owning a motorcycle. It's not when you dump the bike. It's not if you dump the bike. It's when you dump it.
Right.
It's gonna happen, and it's not.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying because you're a bad rider. It's just because of the other drivers out there. I got clipped the other day.
Wow.
Yeah, coming back, I'm helping a friend right now, and coming back, this midlife crisis gentleman in a brand new red Corvette did not even see me, and he clipped my front wheel.
Wow.
Just not even watching. And this is the people in the U.S.
There's so many.
If I can say anything right now, anybody watching the show, tell your friends, tell your family, because this could be exponential. You tell your friends, your family, they tell their friends and family, and it gets throughout the world. Start respecting each other. If you're sick, stay at home. Listen to the governor's orders and listen to the president's orders. If you're sick, stay at home. If you have underlying conditions like I have, stay at home. I still have to go out, but I'm responsible. I wash my hands, I wash my face, and I don't touch anything. I use my elbow to open up doors,
Yeah.
and I wash my hands after using. And here's the biggest thing: social distancing. Okay, I can understand, but the merchant machines that you touch and the ATM machines that you touch, there's nobody at Wells Fargo, Bank of America, or Chase that's outside on the ATM machine, and after one person uses it, they're over there with a sanitizer.
I've seen only one business, the Target up in North Fort Myers. They limit like 5 people at a time.
Right.
And there are the cashiers that are wiping down every single thing.
Finally.
And it's a long line, but it's worth it. And I think they're being so responsible by doing it because people aren't going to do it. People
Right.
are just going to be kind of careless and try to rush in. But I thought that was obviously a great thing to do. And then they have the senior citizens, like the first hour of opening, them and Publix. But they're the ones doing the wiping down. That's the only business I saw.
Do you know that the coronavirus lives on plastic and stainless steel, like ATM machines and merchant machines, from 3 to 6 hours?
That's crazy.
So if I did go to Walmart the other day, and we bought a lot of food for the house, and I did notice that the Walmart worker, after each person used the ATM machine and the self-checkout, they were wiping down.
Okay.
They were wiping down.
Good.
Thank God the businesses are starting to take the correct measures,
Right.
to put this in place. And, I not only want these businesses to do this for COVID-19, but when we're in flu season also.
Absolutely.
So that 21 million people from October 1st of last year to March 1st of this year do not become infected.
Exactly.
Because unfortunately we can't trust the citizens of the United States.
Right. That's so sad.
Yeah, and it is sad because now the government has to step
Yeah.
in. And this is what really stinks. Britton, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and I'm looking forward to updates on your unemployment and your unemployment check, and we'll get you over to WLJ News, and we can have your updates from there. As always, my beautiful co-host Sian Mirage, I'm hoping that I see you sooner than a month from now, but I
Right,
really enjoy doing this show with you, and
do
it
as
makes me
well.
sad to not be able to see you, and I don't get my Zoe moments. I'll have
She'll
to do
video
that.
chat.
Yeah, we'll have to do video chat. She has the most gorgeous 2 girls that
Thank
are
you.
just so they're just so funny. They really make my day every time I see them. Well, guys, it's that time. Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to stay tuned for WLJ News. We're going to be having live updates tomorrow. I got a couple of press releases from the White House today that I'm going to be mentioning on tomorrow that I find very comical because the president is It's just comical. You guys
There's
have
a lot to say about that.
There is.
Tumooks.
Yeah, well, the Tumooks have been put on hold because of the current crisis, and we have to stay in the news portion. Under the Homeland Security, communications will stay open.
Okay.
So WLJ News is a communication company, and that's how we're going to stay open. That's how we're going to go out into the field, and we're going to start going out into the field. I want to start talking to health care workers. And coming up on our breaking news tomorrow morning, I traveled past Cape Coral Hospital today. That is the emptiest I've ever seen that parking lot.
Really? Wow.
Yes, emptiest. And so where are all these COVID-19 cases that are overflowing these hospitals? Because it's not in Cape Coral.
Wow.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Michael Marticovina.
I'm Sian Mirage.
This is the Michael and Sian Show. Thank you guys, and good night.
Good night.